Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to mark the birth of Spongebob Scarepants. We did a Partick Starefish prototype because we weren't too sure where we were going to go with him. I've had developments and ideas, so he will be a different video, and we are going to also do Glarey the snail. He will also be another video. So, Spongebob, I knew where I was going. I knew I wanted a sponge. I bought several to try. This one has since become something else because I didn't see it being wholly the right colour. But that's since taken on a life of its own. That's another project ongoing. The base is drying, so he's just going to be chilling on the side, making sure I'm doing things right. I got this one to try, but by the time I'd have cut it up, it would have been way too small. And it's not quite bright enough, though I do like it. And I got this one, which was a bath sponge, but I've taken the white scrubby side off. So we've got a nice square, right size for the job, Spongebob. I've also got some bouncy eyes, blue, and some air drying clay. All these components are going to make our Spongebob Scarepants. Oh yes, I've also got, we don't need them right now and that's why they're not out, some false eyelashes. Because he's got long luscious lashes. And false teeth, which I've also not got out because we're not touching them right now. So we'll get them out later on in the video. So I've already cut this the size that I want it. We've got a little offcut here because that was an experiment to see how I'd sink the eyes in. So I've got to cut a bit of a hole out, sink the eyes in. But we also need this to give him a big nose. So we're going to keep that. This may or may not be lip. We'll see. It depends if we want him to have that big old poking out flappy top lip or not. So what we're going to do first is paint these eyeballs, just to make them whiter. Or do I just work with them as they are? I mean, it depends how protruding they're going to be. I've stuck them on kebab skewers. This is the test piece. So they're going to be sunk in enough. Let's try it with, oh, that is the off-centre one, because one of these is slightly off-centre. I think that'll be sunk in enough. Because we're going to be, yes. Okay. Well, we're not going to white his eyes then. But what we are going to do is get the, this might be more appropriate actually. A really, really thin brush and give him some blood vessels in those eyes. We need a really, really, really thin brush. This one will probably do it. We're going to try giving him some veiny eyes. Yes, this is perfect. Yes. Right, we know what we're doing. This is the beauty about art and creating. And adjusting as you're going. Your ideas can get better. Sometimes they can get worse, but a lot of the times they can get better. I will, when they're dry, get the camera on my phone on those up close. They're going to go over there to dry for the time being. We will come back when they are dry so we can pop them in, because we can't really put anything else in place until we pop them in. I guess we could look at making the nose. Let's be brave. That, oh, look at that for a nose. Yep. Yep, we have a nose, so let's not, let me put that piece up there because I know that piece is staying with us. Okay, the eyes are fully dry. The only other thing that I did to them was using some permanent markers in shades of blue, was to put some slight detail in the iris, change the colour up a little bit, re-blacked the pupil, and went with a very dark blue around the outside of the iris. So what we're going to do now, we can take them off there, is we are going to position our eyeballs. We're going to want them there and there. So let's just get a little, this is going to get cut out, and I'm blacking around his eyes anyway. Get a little marker in where we want them. We're going to cut these holes quite small to begin with. That one's looking good. Yes. Right. And we've got them exactly where we want them. We are going to glue those in place. Good already. I might just push them in a tiny bit, put a little glue around the very edge. Push them in just that little bit. Only add a very tiny bit. Yeah, we're looking good. Now, before we look at popping the nose on, or what we're going to do, put our lashes on first. I mean, we want it to be quite dark around the eyes. I've pre-watered down a little acrylic paint, so I want to have him dark around the eyes. I don't know whether to go with dark yellow or just outright dark around the eyes. There's just a little bit of darkening around the eyes. I don't want it to look like makeup. And just look a bit stressed out, a bit unhinged. Yeah, we can afford to put the nose on now. We're looking good. Let me get rid of these little offcuts. Now, mouth. We know we want it around here, quite close to being under. So let's start off with what we know we want. We know we want mouth there. We know these are going to come in here. We know if we put some gum in there, that will push the lip forward a little bit. So we'll get it right in the middle. And it does push the lip forward just enough. Now, we want two teeth, but I think what we'll do first, we're going to redden the back there. So let's get a tiny dot of red and we're going to murk it up. We've got a nice dark chasm right in there. Now these, it's go bold or go home, right? These haven't got to go in very far. Yeah. I think I could do with bringing them forward a little bit. Yeah. Right. I'm not going to do anything else to the mouth right now. I think we could probably look at putting his lashes on. Now these are going to be tricky. I'll glue them right in across that line. Looking good. Looking freaky and looking good. Might even do him just some Y fronts, because then they would be Scarepants, wouldn't they? Some tarnished Y fronts. We'll see when we get to that point. So I'm going to go get the air drying clay and probably some wire. Okay, in between getting bits, I've cut the wire and bent it and marked it to where we want it, and I've marked on here where the entry points are. I also thought, I know what, he's got to have some stanky pants. So he has got some little stinky Y fronts that I made. I have a bit of old tatty piece of off-white material. Was white once, not anymore. And I'm going to have him holding his pants up. I've also, with false nails, cut out some little tiny nails. So I'm going to wedge those in his toes. So he's got to have some ugly looking feet. Right. I think what I should do first is position pants, because we're not going to be able to put pants on when his legs are attached. We can rejigger them to the place we want them. I want them sort of like hanging off a bit and being held up that side because the elastic's gone in them. So we know that's roughly where we're going to want his pants. Because when we put these in, and I'm unsure yet whether I'll probably make them and let them dry and then put them in, so we can paint them up. And so they haven't got to support him as well, even though he's not that heavy. So let's get a little air drying clay out and cover up to that point there. Now we're not going to need this much. I want his legs to be quite skinny. Now the feet's going to be where it's really at. In fact, I'm going to get my little board out, my little cutting board to work off, so I'll be able to move this easier. Now the toes are going to be interesting to do. So what we might do is this. Attach all the little toes as a oneer and shape them once they're on there, and then do the big toe as a oneer shaped all by itself. This. They are pretty ugly looking feet. Alright, we have two really gross looking feet there. All we're going to do now is using sponge, just press all over so it's got a bit of texture to it. Right, these are not dry yet by a long shot, but I had a little thought, and I reckon with this little arm support here we can make the arm. So let's see if we can, or at least make the left arm. I reckon we can do that with the aid of that darling little support there. And I've cut some more nails for this hand, and one for that hand because you're only going to see the thumb. The rest is going to be obscured. Might even pay to do middle finger first and work our way out. Right, leave that. Now I officially can't do anything else. Okay, we're still not dry, but I've got the itch to continue, so I've made a prop. So I haven't got to glue this in, I can just push it in and it rests there. So I'm on Wednesday at the moment. It'll probably be at least Friday before I'm able to actually do much more to him. These are drying nicely, but they're quite wet underfoot. Okay. I was going to leave it for a bit longer, but I think we're dry enough to at least put him together, and that'll help dry some of the bits out more. These are going to take a little bit because they're just resting flat. Let's see if we can actually put him together. We're just going to have to be brave and do this. Not put his feet on backwards. Or knock his nails off. Now, will he be able to support? He will be able to support. Because this one, you'll get in there like that. It's holding his pants up. Okay. He actually stands up. He actually, let me get my phone quickly so you can see this. He actually stands. And at not a wholly bad angle. But yeah, I think if I can get in there, you can see his lip sticks out just a little bit. Yeah, he is going to be an interesting creation. And by the time we painted up his feet, look at them. And look at that size of that nose. Yeah, and there's the detail on the eyes. He's had a few late nights, and he's had a few accidents. But he is looking pretty cool. Okay, Spongebob Scarepants is fully dry, so we can move him around. Which is just as well, because we need to paint him before we work on the base. We're just going to go for just a sandy base, because he lives at the bottom of the sea. So, we're going to need to try and get the yellow very, very similar to the sponge. So, let's, because it's a bit paler than, I think I've got lemon yellow out. Yeah, I've got lemon yellow and medium yellow. And you can have a bit more of the lemon in there. And we're going to be giving him more than one coat. I think we have very nearly got everywhere that we can get in this initial painting session. He's going to have to wait. So that's some good progress. It was easy enough to make colour close enough that we're happy with. And I was having a little jiggle with his underwear, seeing if we could get that where I wanted it. So I wanted it a bit more pinched in between his fingers. And we can do that, so this is good. Alright, let's see if we can reach those points that we couldn't. Actually, I'm going to do his legs first. I was having a think as well in the brief time it took him to dry. Thinking about getting a wash involved around his toenails just to funk them up a bit more. I am going to go pop him somewhere to dry. So what we're going to do now is sort out his base. Simply glue, a little bit of sand, a little bit of rather yellow, very fine sawdust. It's going to be a combination of that scattered around. We're going to try not to go over the edges. That is all we're doing with him right now. Okay, we are back with Mr. Spongebob Scarepants. Now let's just tap off a little of this excess, because we are going to start to varnish him. Now he is going to be an interesting one to varnish. I am going to start at the top and work my way down. I think he's definitely going to take more than one coat, because I'm not going to get everywhere with this first coat. Right, that's all we're going to do right now. We're not going to push our luck. Alright, we are back, and Mr. Spongebob Scarepants is done. He looks so freaky and so cool. And I did varnish his pants in the end. I left a couple of patches because I thought that would just add to the whole stain look. And he is all varnished. He's still got a little bit of give in him because he's not totally soaked in varnish. He's just got a nice coat. Give him a bit of protection. And across his eyes, so his eyes are nice and shined up. Didn't varnish his eyelashes though. I want to keep them as they are. So let's get the old phone up on him here so you can see him in his full glory. Check him out. I did give him a little nosebleed as well in the end. Let's just tilt him back so you can see. Classic big teeth. Just two. Big, not so twonky nose now. It doesn't have quite the wobble to it. That's quite a stare going on. They're quite mean looking eyeballs. He's had a few late nights, seen some things, done some things. Oh yeah, check those feet out. They are quite gross. Tilt him back. He has, out of focus, back in focus. There we are, he has fingernails. He's hitching his pants up. He's got a sort of, he's got a sponge crack. That's what he's got. He's got a sponge crack. I like him. Now, oh yeah, and there's the base. Just a simple sandy base. He looks quite tragic, but cool. So that was fun to do. Bit of sponge, bit of air drying clay. They're actually Halloween spooky bouncy eyeballs. False teeth. Old bit of material. Some very stained Y fronts. And false nails. False nails trimmed down. Even though they're trimmed down, they're shockingly not much smaller than my nails. I've got tiny nails. I'm proud of him. I love him. I think he's cool. I think he's somewhat dishevelled. And now I'll have to think about making his friend. I have a video up of Partick Starefish, the prototype. I'm going to make, because I didn't know where I was going with him. I knew what I was going to do with Spongebob Scarepants. I didn't know what I was going to do with Partick Starefish. So, but now I do. So I'll be cracking on with him. And I also thought, well, if I've got these two in their spooky world, then we need to have Glarey the snail. So he will also be joining the party at some point. I'm just having to think about how I'm going to do his eyes. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little Scarepants journey. It's quite fun to make him. I've never made a Spongebob Scarepants or any variant of before. In fact, I'll lay him down so he can see, we can all see him out together. So he just got the top of his head. So yeah, like I say, I hope you've enjoyed this. It was fun to do. I enjoyed it. And like I say, I hope you do too. If you have any ideas or suggestions for perhaps other characters that I can make a freaky variant of, then please do feel free to pop them in the comments. That being said, like if you like what you see, comment if you've got something to say, and subscribe if you really like what you see and you want to see more and know when it's coming. Thank you all again so much. Take care and see you in the next one.